Everyone is used to experiencing creepy things during the Halloween season, but when the things that go bump in the night happen to be located in your house, it's a whole different story. Hey guys, and welcome to our channel. Today in this video, we'll be going over 20 of the freakiest, real-life haunted house stories that will send shivers down your spine. But before we move on to the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Also, press on the bell icon for more updates. Number 20. The Villisca Axe House in Villisca, Iowa. On the 10th of June 1912, Sarah and Josiah Moore were beaten to death inside their home in Villisca, Iowa. Their 4 kids and 2 friends who were spending the night were also murdered, and the crime remains unsolved to this day. Their home is considered one of the country's most haunted houses, and guests are drawn to it. People even pay $450 plus to stay for one night. Number 19. The Biltmore Estate, Asheville, North Carolina. The Biltmore Estate is a massive and infamous home whose original owners, Edith and George Vanderbilt, still haunt the home. While she died in 1958 and he in 1914, their ghosts continue to walk the grounds and laugh in certain rooms. Number 18. The Belvedere Mansion, Claremore, Oklahoma. The Bayliss family built the Victorian-style Belvedere Mansion in 1908 and now contains a bathroom, 2 historically furnished living quarters, an archive room, and a gift shop on the 2nd floor. Reports of hazy figures, toilets flushing on their own, random grabbings, and mysterious cold and hot spots have made the mansion just as much haunted as it is historic. Number 17. The Whaley House, San Diego, California. James Yankee Jim Robinson was hanged from a grand theft in 1852. A few years later, Anna and Thomas Whaley built a house on the spot of Robinson's death. Soon after, it is rumored that the ghost of Yankee Jim came to stay. He's known to storm around the house. Today, Mr. and Mrs. Whaley, a little girl, and the family dog have also been said to show up at the home in ghost form. The Whaley House was classified as haunted by the U.S. Department of Commerce in the 1970s. Number 16. 455A Sackett Street in Brooklyn, New York. In the case of 455A Sackett Street in Brooklyn, one woman who lived up there writes about her first-hand experiences, which included unexplained fires, family tragedies, seriously bad energy, and personal suffering. Here's the kicker. A child's body was found in the wall after several suspicious sights of a similar-looking shadow child in the mirror. Number 15. Hotel Monte Vista in Flagstaff, Arizona. The hotel, which was opened as a community hotel in 1927, named after the townspeople who helped to raise funds for its construction, has a history of underground gambling, opium dens, and speakeasies. Today, the hotel is famous for the paranormal activity that haunts some halls and rooms. Guests who have stayed in room 220 have experienced the TV channels changing on their own accord, and some have said they felt cold hands holding them in their sleep. Number 14. Myrtles Plantation in St. Francisville, Louisiana. Reported to be on top of a burial ground in the Myrtles Plantation in Louisiana, which is the home to at least 10 different ghosts. Constructed in 1795, it became a center for ghost stories around the story of an enslaved woman named Chloe, who had her ear chopped off as she was caught eavesdropping. Seeking revenge, Chloe killed 2 daughters of her master by poisoning their birthday cake. She was then hanged to death by her fellow enslaved people, and today is allegedly seen wandering the plantation with a turban on to hide her ear. Number 13. Hotel Cecile in Los Angeles, California. If you're a true crime and paranormal superfan, you've likely already heard of the Hotel Cecile. So, where to begin? The first recorded death by suicide was in 1932. A woman killed her newborn in the building in 1944, and the pattern of suicides continued into the 60s. In 1962, a woman leaped from the 9th floor window and fell on a pedestrian, killing them both. Other weird things followed, but the weirdest is the missing and death of 21-year-old traveler, Alyssa Lam. A few years after Lam disappeared, her body was discovered in the rooftop water tank. They later found unusual footage of her in the elevator from the night of her disappearance. It is difficult to make out what she's doing. Authorities wrote it accidental death of drowning. Number 12. Winchester Mystery House, San Jose, California. The Victorian mansion is rumored to be haunted by the ghosts of everyone murdered by a Winchester rifle. To make space for all of the dead, the owner of the house, Sarah Winchester, the heir to the Winchester rifle fortune, continue to include rooms to host the ghosts. The house now has 2,000 doors, 10,000 windows, 47 fireplaces, 40 staircases, 13 bathrooms, and 9 kitchens. Number 11. Lizzie Board in Bed and Breakfast, Fall River, Massachusetts. In 1892, Abby and Andrew Borden were murdered by a psychopath with an axe. Andrew's daughter, Lizzie, stood trial for the murders, but was ultimately acquitted. She is now rumored to haunt the home where her stepmother and father were infamously murdered. Her ghost is said to stand at the top of the stairs and let out a laugh. Today, the house is a bed and breakfast and a museum. Every August, the museum performs its annual reenactment of the gory crimes. How creepy. Number 10. The Lemp Mansion, St. Louis, Missouri. This 32-room home was built in the 1860s by William Lemp, a successful brewery owner in the Midwest, who committed suicide in 1904 after his youngest son died. After a few years, his wife died of cancer. In 1923, William Lemp Jr. killed himself in the same room as his father. In 1949, William's third son, Charles Lemp, shot his dog in the basement, then shot himself in his room. That year, the house was sold and converted into a boarding house, although reports quickly surfaced of slamming doors and burning sensations. Today, the mansion is an inn and a restaurant and even hosts a murder mystery dinner. Number 9. Bell Witch Farm, Adams, Tennessee. John Bell and his family settled and lived on farmland along Tennessee's Red River in the early 1800s. However, strange-looking animals began to come onto their property, like a dog with a rabbit's head. Such oddities only worsened with physical attacks received from the Bells' former neighbor, Kate Batts, whose ghost wanted revenge. As legend has it, the ghost stopped the marriage of John's daughter Betsy to a local boy, and it's believed to have murdered John. Today, visitors can tour the cave of the Bell Witch and a reconstruction of the Bell's cabin. Number 8. The Crescent Hotel, Eureka Springs, Arkansas. In 1936, millionaire inventor Norman G. Baker posed as the doctor, turning a hotel into a hospital where he promised he could cure people's cancer. His fetish for the purple shade motivated him to paint many sections of the hospital. Today, the chimneys remain that shade, an eerie reminder of the terrifying time when people arrived from all over the globe to have their cancer treated by a fake. Many who were treated there died. Although the inventor was ultimately exposed and fled out of town, the property remains an active hotel, haunted by several ghosts. Number 7. The Queen Anne Hotel, San Francisco, California. In 1890, the Queen Anne Hotel ran as an etiquette school for girls. Today, it's a 47-room hotel that is reported to be haunted by the ghost of Miss Mary Lake, the school's head mistress. People staying in room 410, Miss Mary Lake's former office, have been rumored to wake up to find their clothes unpacked and their blankets tightly around them. Number 6. Sweetwater Mansion, Florence, Alabama. Dating back to 1834, the Sweetwater Mansion is a plantation house constructed by General John Brahan, a veteran of the War of 1811. The 8-room home was first inhabited by his son-in-law, Robert M. Patton, a post-Civil War governor of Alabama. The plantation is mostly rooted in paranormal activity, including one witness who reported seeing a soldier in a coffin in one of the rooms. There are also reports of female visitors locked in one of the home's rooms. Number 5. The White House, Washington, D.C. The federal government has made some of the most powerful people throughout history, so it makes sense it would come with a little paranormal activity. Staff, visitors, and White House residents have reported seeing the ghosts of Abigail Adams, Abraham Lincoln, and Andrew Jackson. Among the witnesses, Winston Churchill, FDR, and Dwight D. Eisenhower claimed to have seen the ghost of Abraham Lincoln. The Obamas even swore to have felt a sensation of someone gnawing at their feet in the middle of the night and repeatedly heard strange sounds. Number 4. The Joshua Ward House, Salem, Massachusetts. This haunted house was built in 1783 and was originally owned by George Corwin, the High Sheriff, during the Salem witch trials. It was later bought by wealthy sea captain Joshua Ward. The remains of Corwin were housed in the basement and later moved to a neighboring cemetery. Rumor has it that spirit of Corwin continues to haunt the house. Number 3. Franklin Castle, Cleveland, Ohio. The Franklin Castle was constructed in 1865 for the Tiedemann family. 4 of the family's children passed away in the home, and owner, Hannes Tiedemann, was rumored to have murdered his mistress in the tower and his 13-year-old niece in a hidden passage. The murders and deaths have made for a home steeped in paranormal activity, with people visiting the mansion recalling seeing an eerie woman in black gazing out of the tower window, doors flying off hinges, small children crying, and spinning lights. Number 2. Woodburn Mansion, Dover, Delaware. This Georgian home dates back to the 1970s. The mansion was bought in 1965 by the state to use as a residence of the governor, but the home has become popular for much more than that. It's an active site for paranormal encounters, including the strange little girl who seemed to be floating in a fountain at a 1986 inauguration to the Revolutionary soldiers who drank any wine left out in the house. Number 1. Henderson Castle, Kalamazoo, Michigan. This historic inn is swarming with ghostly activity. Visitors claim ghosts of the original owners, Mary and Frank Henderson, walked through the home, as does a veteran of the American-Spanish War, a dog, and a little girl. According to legend, these spirits have tried to communicate with the living through unplugged radios. With that, we've come to the end of this episode. If you like this video, then hit the thumbs up icon. We'll come again with another horror story. Until then, stay curious.